Good morning. The headlines have become all too familiar. Millions flow to Beaver County-based PA cyber school spinoffs. State gives Philadelphia School District $45 million to spend all in one place. York City School District misspent $834,000 of taxpayer money. Pennsylvania says 2 school districts financially distressed. And PA cyber charter school founder schemed to steal $1 million. As we read these headlines in our newspapers, we have to ask ourselves, could the incidents of misuse of taxpayer dollars could they have been prevented? How are school districts spending the millions, if not billions, they are receiving from state and federal government? Several years ago, we were asking the same questions about our state government. We were asking Harrisburg to open up the checkbook and show us where the taxpayers' dollars are being spent. 2 years ago, we did just that. With the creation of SchoolWATCH website in a bipartisan fashion, we gave Pennsylvania citizens who rightfully demanded a more accountable and transparent state government. The level of transparency they asked for, and they have every right to receive. Now it's time to take another step. Our hardworking taxpayers have asked us to hold our school districts to the same level of accountability and transparency. And I couldn't agree with them more. Despite the variations in size across our state of school districts, the level of accountability is not meeting the standard that the state is, nor the federal government is for that matter. And it's time that we change the way business is done within every public school district. To accomplish that goal, I introduced legislation that will create SchoolWATCH, the School Web Accountability, Transparency, and Contract Hub, an easy-to-use online database accessible by everyone. This proposal envisions one website where the media, taxpayers, interest groups, teachers can go to find all the information they need to spot bloated, wasteful government spending, and to see details about which programs are receiving what amount of tax dollars. It would apply to all public schools, whether they're traditional, cyber, or charter. The right to know process, while effective, is completely outdated, antiquated, slow, and does not embrace technology. SchoolWATCH is a cost-effective and user-friendly solution. We need to implement this database to open our school district budgets to the penetrating eyes of the public. Because when school officials know when people are watching, wasteful spending will be exposed, prevented, and hopefully stopped. It could change the behaviors of school officials just like it changed the behaviors of Harrisburg. The proposal I created has more than 50 co-sponsors, but we are in need of more sponsors. We are in need of Democrats to reach across the aisle as they did when we passed SchoolWATCH. Republicans and Democrats, liberals and conservatives must join together in showing the taxpayers where we're spending their dollars. We often have philosophical debates of whether we're spending enough, we're spending too much, we're not investing in the right programs. Well, the first step in solving that philosophical debate is by having complete transparency. If Republicans feel that school districts are being wasteful and misusing dollars and spending too much, then let's allow the taxpayers, allow the government to go through their checkbook and make those decisions not based off of assumptions, but based off of facts. And if some folks are saying that Harrisburg and Washington, D.C. and property taxes aren't contributing enough resources to public schools in Pennsylvania, then show us, not based off of assumption, but based off of facts, where you're not meeting the obligations of your students and your parents, where you stack up against where other school districts of your size. Let's make those arguments based off facts, not assumptions. Many school officials are bogged down with the antiquated process of the right to know process. We've heard over time after time during appropriation hearings that the system is burdensome. I think it went 1,000 miles in changing government transparency. But I think we can do it in a more cost-effective way. And just like PennWatch, we're not reinventing the wheel here. If you look at Texas, Texas has a great system put in place where we can, where their taxpayers and media can track where taxpayer dollars are being spent on a school district level, on a district level, on a school building level, and they even talk about effectiveness of where they're spending those dollars stacked up against their peers. I think that is where Pennsylvania needs to go. I'm thankful that the chairman of the Education Committee, Chairman Clymer, is here. I'd like to turn it over to him for a few words.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Representative Christiana. And I do plan to move this legislation forward, SchoolWATCH and CharterWatch, House Bills 1411 and 1412. We're living in a tight economy. We all recognize that. We know that families, when they look at their weekly budget or monthly budget, scrutinize it very carefully to make sure that they have enough money at the end of the day to pay for all their bills. And in this tight economy, and when the working public is scrutinizing and making certain that they have done their dead level best to make sure that they have used their money very wisely, it's incumbent upon government to make sure that agencies that we provide public funds to do the same. And that's the purpose that we have these two bills before us today. It's to allow the public then to look to see how their taxpayer dollars are being spent by the schools, that's the public school, the charter school, and the cyber charter school, so that they have access to those figures and they can then determine whether or not those dollars are being spent wisely. And as you just heard from Representative Christiana, if they see something that doesn't seem right, if there's a red flag when they look at those figures, then they can go to the school board, they can go to the administrators and say, look, why are you spending this money in the way that you are spending it? So what we're doing is obviously presenting to the public to make available the budgets that are put in place by the school boards, and to make certain that these dollars will be spent in a wise and a very prudent way. So this is important legislation. What I also find very interesting is that we need to continue these efforts at the federal level. We're already doing it at the state level, the county level, local municipalities, and now school districts. All should be held accountable for the dollars that they receive from the public to make sure that they are spent wisely, and to have this transparency that the public can say, yes, we can agree or not agree with the way these funds are being allocated. So thank you very much, and as I said, we plan to be moving these bills forward within the near future.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I think it's important to note that without the chairman's commitment to this bill, we'd be even further from having this reach the governor's desk. I hope that the conversations with the Department of Education, the Senate, our Democrat colleagues go well over in the next several months, because I think this is as important of an issue as we're going to deal with in the Education Committee, and the level of interest from the public standpoint on transparency and accountability towards school district is probably at one of its highest levels. Whether you're looking at the Philadelphia School District, Chester Upland, or the allegations in Beaver County over the last several months, I think the legislature, in a bipartisan way, just like it did in PennWatch. PennWatch passed without a negative vote in both chambers. And I think that is the same type of bipartisanship that the public is going to demand for our school districts, especially those that are receiving 100% public dollars. So with that, concludes our remarks, but if there's any questions, we're happy to answer those.
Is the, would school districts, would salaries of individual employees be included in this?
The chairman and I have been discussing nuances of the bill for quite some time. I think that we've been very receptive to working with interest groups in the education establishment, and I think the bill will change over the next several weeks. I'm open-minded to this. This isn't a take it or leave it proposal, and I suspect that there will be some type of commitment on our part to not unveil individual salaries but collective salaries going forward. We're not interested in putting individuals' names on a website and having this be anything but as ethical and as responsible as possible. And I think having collective salaries based off per building expenditures is more appropriate than having individuals on a website.
So why is that different than PennWatch?
Because when we were dealing with PennDOT, we were looking at individuals that had misused on a rank and file basis tremendous amounts of taxpayer dollars. I think this is also a give and take process in order to have interest groups be as receptive as possible. And I just feel like it's I'm not interested in holding up the process for transparency because of putting individual teachers' names and their salaries on a website. I'm more interested in looking at the building costs rather than individual salaries, and I think that's just a give and take negotiation to get a bill across the finish line.
And is there any new information that school districts would have to be reporting to the department for this?
Not to my knowledge, no. Anything available under the right to know should be put on this website. So no.
Salaries are available.
Well, we're not going to, you could still get individual salaries then if through the right to know process, but we're going to put collective salaries on the website, not individuals at this time. Open to amendments on the floor, but getting through the committee process, they will not be individual salaries.
So school districts won't feel that this is another unfunded mandate in any way?
We're working with the interest groups in the public school establishment. I can't speak for them, but I would say this available is already available to the public, but it needs to be done in a less burdensome way, a more technology-friendly way. You know, some folks aren't going to have a computer, and they're going to still want to know this information, so the right to know process will serve a certain constituency. I think we need to get school districts on a more uniform platform dealing with their accounting systems, which will hopefully save money over the long term. And we're working with them to, and I think it's important to know that the commission that's going to be put in place is a group of professionals finding the best way to make this website as user-friendly and also as friendly to the public school establishment as well. We're not looking to be burdensome. We're actually looking to cut waste and inefficiencies and get everyone on a unified system. Any other questions? All right, thank you.